welcome to episode 9 of Desert Island. All mod cons here. Desert Island Dickheads, and we've got another guest today who we've never met before. He's just wandered in off the street.
Yeah, that's as I do.
So Emma, who is this chap?
Well, we've got Mr. Phil Ericson. Welcome to DID.
Emma calls it DID because she's too ashamed to call it Desert Island Dickheads.
Can I just ask you first what you do music-wise?
Blues, folk, rock, whatever I fancy. I'm not going to pigeonhole myself into any particular genre, but
so you play with others, or play solo?
Yeah, I've played with. I'm playing with Ali Rose at the moment.
Oh yeah,
she's a great singer.
She runs Romford.
She runs Romford Haver Folk.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And we were in a trio together at one time called Rosewick.
Yes.
And now we're working together. She's doing an album, and I'm doing an album, and we're helping each other on vocals, and I'm playing guitar for her on some songs as well.
That's the spirit, isn't it?
Yeah, I also do another duet with a fella in Saffron Walden called Bernie, and we're Saffron Breeze. But that's just covers, old pop covers and stuff like that. I do a lot of stuff on my own.
Right, so and obviously you're a great lover of music.
And before we go any further, because of legal issues, you might have to read that out.
So. Alright, terms and conditions. 1. Mr. Stroke Mrs. That's me, Phil Ericson, promise to subscribe to your channel.
Oh, sorry.
Well, wreck the joint.
I've already done that.
Nice one.
I promise to leave a comment, that I shall do that. I promise to give a thumbs up, I've done that. And I promise I will ring that notification bell ding dong.
Ding dong indeed. And before we go any further, it's an all-time first. We've even got a studio audience today. She paid the £50 entrance fee. If you fancy coming along and being a part of it, it's only £50 to get in. Yeah. Keeps the show on the road.
There's 2 seats really,
yeah,
and then one for the cat. You have to share it with the cat. Anyway, let's move on with the first question. Can you tell us about your earliest musical memory?
Yes, I had to think about that. I remembered the 1964 Olympic theme song. Da, 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 da,
Good morning, Tokyo.
But I couldn't remember who was responsible for that, so I looked it up. It's Helmut Zacharias.
Really?
Which I didn't. I just remember. I was only 4 years old, but I do remember the music. Yeah.
So was it in Tokyo?
Yeah,
it was in Tokyo.
I wasn't born
clues
then.
in the name because it says Tokyo Olympic.
I had a mate who nearly qualified for that Olympic team. His name was Will he make it?
You have to think about that.
Right, yeah, well that's a genuine memory.
That's a memory for me as well, that is.
You remember
I can remember that as clear as day. That
obviously it was a good...
Who was the British heroes from that era? Was it Lynn Davis?
Might have been, I don't remember that much. I was only 4, I just remember the music.
Oh dear, he was a hop, skip and a jumper.
Well, it was a good thing because obviously it's very, very memorable.
It is.
Yeah, it's a nice little chirpy little tune.
Yes.
Also around about that time, we got our first telly, first black and white TV. And I do remember watching Petula Clark doing Downtown. So I remember that was around about the same time, yeah. And I remember sort of grainy 405 image on the telly.
Yeah.
My best friend's called Petula.
Oh, right.
After Petula Clark.
Oh, right, okay.
My shoes are called Clarks.
Right. Can you remember, well I'm sure you can because you've had time to have a think. What was the first single you bought with your own money?
I think it was Lily the Pink by The Scaffold. Who I believe...
Drink to Lily the Pink, the Pink, the Pink.
Saviour of the human race. I think McCartney's brother was in the band The Scaffold, I think.
He was. He changed his name to Mike McGear.
Did he not want to be associated with...
He should have not wanted to be associated with Lily the Pink.
Yeah,
that's part of it, yeah.
Or anything else they did. Like Aintree Iron and all that.
Yeah, it's
funny. That was your first single?
Yeah, that was the first one I think I bought with my own pocket money.
You're not a fan anymore of the band?
I doubt very much would have existed for 50 years, to be honest with you, but can't say I was a fan.
It's a funny song, funny record, Lily the Pink. Even at the time, I knew I shouldn't have liked it, but I think I did like it in a strange way.
What year was that?
1968.
Because again, I wasn't quite born then, but
you do know that song,
but I think my parents used to sing it around the kitchen.
It's a joke. It was a joke, novelty record.
Yeah,
I assumed maybe it was more of a music hall sort of a song.
It might
have been a Liverpool song.
It could even.
It was actually about a woman, a real woman.
Well, I assumed it was someone called Lily.
No, she was pink.
Pink Lily.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was her.
That's why. But Who was the other bloke? He was like a...
The bald bloke?
No, not him. He gave me the willies as a kid, that bloke. He was a right ugly pig.
I remember when we was around about that time, we put the record on at some Christmas at home, and me and two of the cousins acted it out. Probably not very well, but I was the bloke in the middle.
No, the other one, not McCartney's brother, not the bald one, but the other one, he was a famous poetry. He was a big poetry man.
Oh yeah, not
I can't remember what his name was.
No, don't know.
Leave it in the comments if anybody knows what his name was.
So, what was the first album you bought?
I was thinking about it. When I was about 15, I joined the Realm Record and Tape Club in Ilford, and they had very limited range in their catalogue.
Can you say what that was for our younger viewers?
A record, yeah.
And for me.
It's a 12-inch vinyl disc. Oh, they're still around, aren't they? Vinyls, they're very popular.
I don't mean vinyl, I mean the club thing.
Oh, it's just a mail order record club. You join it and you send off, and you have to commit to buying one a month or something like that. So the introductory offer, it was, yeah. The introductory offer was 4 cassette tapes for a certain amount of money, really cheap. So I was, a lot of the kids at school were interested in Rick Wakeman, stuff like that was all about at the time. So, and that was the only really good one that I wanted to buy from the introductory offer. So I chose a couple of Carpenters CDs, they weren't around then, cassettes, and believe it or not, an Alvin Stardust cassette, that's all it was available. The Carpenters are very good, because even then I liked their harmonies, but I wanted the Rick Wakeman one. So the Rick Wakeman one was, I would say, the first one I bought, but later on,
What was that? Was it a solo album?
Journey to the Centre of the Earth, which is his second solo album, but I bought it on vinyl after that as well.
Oh, well, you must have liked it.
Yeah, I bought it on CD later as well, so I loved it.
It's got
That's the
an
deluxe.
orchestra.
Oh yeah, the orchestra and a big
So
choir,
what was the band he was in?
Yes. Well, he was in the Strawbs, and then he was in Yes.
He was in Strawbs.
He was in the Strawbs, yeah.
I always think of the Strawbs as quite folk rock.
Folk rock, yeah, and prog rock, yeah.
And Yes, more
Yes was prog rock.
heavy and prog rock.
When did he? I saw the Strawbs.
They're still around. They're still around, yeah.
Yeah, I know that. But I saw them back in the early 70s. I wonder if Rick Wakeman was in. No,
Yeah,
I think it was.
He
Was
left.
it Blue
I'll tell you what
Weaver?
happened. When I saw the Strawbs a few years ago, they said that Wakeman was in the band up until about 71, and they were paying him 20 quid a week, and then Yes came along and offered him 100 quid a week. So you can guess what
It's in
happened.
very good condition.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yes, that's a deluxe cover with all the
You
acid trip
well, you've
pictures
looked
in
after
there.
it.
I have. Yeah.
Well,
Blue Weaver, joined.
Well done.
Blue Weaver. Who's that? I don't know.
He was a keyboard player.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure he joined.
Blue Weaver.
I think he was.
How do you
yeah.
even know that?
I don't know. It's just. I'm probably wrong, but I'm sure he did.
So that was my first album. I was very much into Rick Wakeman and Mike Oldfield stuff like
Yes.
mid-70s.
Yeah.
Rick Wakeman, of course, is famous for playing the keyboards on.
Oh, one of the Bowie songs.
Bowie song, yeah. Space Odyssey, I think.
Space Odyssey.
And he played on Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens.
Did he? Oh, yeah, the one that's great piano, isn't it?
He's fantastic. You can tell him a mile off.
Yeah, well, he played the great piano on Life on Mars. Yeah, and he played the mellotron on Space Odyssey.
All right, you're being clever now. What's the mellotron?
I don't know. It's some sort of keyboard.
It's a monotone thing that imitates strings. It was very popular in the 70s.
Like
yeah. You can still get it, I think.
I
always
thought the solo in Space Odyssey was played on one of those things that Rolf Harris.
Styrofoam.
Yeah.
Styrofoam.
Used to
Not
have
styrofoam. Styrofoam. What it was called.
Yeah, you know the thing.
Yeah.
That made us-
Yes.
There's a little pen touch keyboard thing.
Okay.
Maybe I'll
Well, thank you for that, and impressive that you brought it in, and it's
Oh.
still like not just falling to pieces. Like
Mint, I think
I
they call
I
it.
keep a lot of my
Mint.
stuff. I keep a lot of my stuff in good condition. Yeah, wherever I
Good
can.
for
Yeah.
you. So, what was your first live show you went to?
Well, I was thinking about that. Yeah, when I was a kid, a lot of my cousins were a lot older than me, and they were getting married as I was 10, 12, that sort of age.
So where were you growing up at this time?
I lived near Ilford.
did you?
Near Ilford, yeah.
Right.
A lot of my cousins lived in North London, East London. Some of them, most of them were older than me, and they were getting married about this time, and they would always have a live band instead of a DJ at the wedding. It was common. So they were the first sort of bands I saw live. When I got to about 16, I would start seeing pub bands all over the place. Used to go to the Green Gate in Newbury Park. They had a band every week called Tonics, Tonix. The Rabbits in Manor Park, that would have JJ Foote were playing there, and covers bands.
Yeah.
and then I started seeing bands in the Ruskin Arms in East Ham. But the first big band, this is probably what you're asking, the first big band I saw was Status Quo at Lewisham Odeon.
Lewisham Odeon.
Yeah, in 1977.
That would be they're rocking all over the world.
It was exactly that
Was it?
tour, yes, it was.
Rocking all over the world, yet there they
Yes.
were playing in Lewisham.
Yes. Well, they started there, then they went around the world,
Are you sure?
and they came back the next year, next summer. I saw them again at the Reading Festival, and they'd been around the world and come back, and that was the last. I think that was the last gig on that world tour.
So how old were you when you saw them?
Well, I was 17 then.
Did you have long hair?
Absolutely, I did. Did you want to see that?
Yes.
Well, there's a couple of strange pictures there.
Oh, I
Long
love
hair.
how all the pictures from that era
Yeah.
that have these.
Little curved
They're
corners.
all the same colour, aren't they? The colour of the 70s,
Yeah, yeah.
sort of
I should be putting that.
faded orange.
You look like you're on some sort of a dialysis machine there.
Yeah, you're connected.
Is that? Yeah.
Well, I'd say that's. I looked at that picture,
It's,
and there's.
I can tell it's you.
Oh, I
Still.
expect you can, yeah. You're very young. But if you look there, I used to have my records there, and the one on the left is Cozy Powell's Over the Top album.
Oh.
So that was the one I was pulled out to the left. So the one I'm listening to must have been Praying Mantis.
Oh, you're listening
Time
to
Tells No
Is
Lies.
that like
That's
a little
headphones.
earpiece?
It's headphones.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
please, big headphones.
Got a nice little
Big
moustache there as well.
Oh, yes. Got blown down a vacuum cleaner.
I like the. Did you grow up with the drinks cabinet? Is that a drinks cabinet?
Someone gave me that, yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
grow up with a drink problem?
No.
No?
No.
You're looking.
Oh,
It was very brown. Everything was in the 70s, wasn't
Yes.
it? Brown everything.
Anyway, yeah, good hair. And we've already
Thank you
talked
very
about
much.
it.
And you
Yeah.
still
Still
got
have
your
good
hair.
Thank
He
you.
even looked after his hair.
I know you had it cut this morning.
I did,
Especially.
I did.
Just to appear on the show.
It's so big and so thick and curly.
Later on, I know that's give away the clue to one of the questions coming up.
Oh, yeah, cool.
It's exciting.
Anticipated.
So, when you were
In fact, the
young,
next question.
would
in
you have
fact.
When I was young, I am young. Thank you very much. I'm still young.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 21, something like that. I am 65.
Oh, yeah, 65.
Yeah. What are you?
70.
Oh, yeah,
No,
really?
you're not. You're 69.
I'm 70 this year,
Okay.
so you still
Yeah,
ain't got
70
your
year.
pension yet?
No, next January.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'll need it. I need the money.
So it went. I said when you were younger, should I
Yeah,
have said,
younger.
like in the 70s, teenager,
Yeah,
let's say. Would you have identified as a mod? A
What do you
rocker,
reckon from that? Do I look like a mod?
No.
No.
No,
Do I look like a soul
hippie.
boy?
No,
No.
I was a rocker.
he's a
I was
rocker.
a rocker.
So you identified as a rocker.
Yeah, heavy rock, prog rock. That was
Yeah.
my thing at the time.
Prog
I've
rock.
widened out quite a bit since then. But
Yeah.
I've widened out as well.
in actual fact, at the time, I liked a lot of singer-songwriter stuff as well, but I wouldn't admit it. That's what I was just.
Weren't you into like glam and stuff?
Oh, in the early 70s, yeah,
Yeah.
also like Slade and stuff. Like
Come
that.
on,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
Slade.
yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned the Carpenters earlier as well.
Yeah.
So they're quite folky. Were they American folk?
I wouldn't say it's folk. It's like a lot of it was jazzy sort of stuff.
Was it?
They did a lot of stuff, but their harmonies were fantastic.
Yeah.
The arrangements of their songs were.
You used to go out with a carpenter, one of the carpenters, didn't you?
You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there.
The tradesman variety.
I know what he means. Yes.
Right. Can you tell us about a song you fell in love to?
Yeah, I will take you back to about 1967 when I moved from infant school to junior school. So I was in those days they just called it first, second, third
Yes.
year, and then it went first, second, third, fourth, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Nowadays they do it a bit different than year one, year two.
Yeah.
I
So
understand.
confusing.
So I moved into junior school, probably about the age of 7 or 8, I suppose. And I was in the first year, and I fell in love with a girl who was in the fourth year. So she's a bit older, I like the older woman.
Yes.
So I don't know why, because it was all very innocent. And at the time, yeah, well, of course, yeah. At the time, Andy Williams' "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" was in the charts, and that whenever I heard it, I reminds me of this young lady.
You're just too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. But I probably would have forgotten her if it hadn't been for the song. The song has kept that memory alive.
Did she ever know?
I don't. It might have been Barbara, but I can't remember. She's not very important. It's the song that's important.
It is.
It sounds
I
a bit
remember
sinister.
seeing that. I remember that being on the
Sounds a bit
telly.
sinister now, doesn't it? I can't take my eyes off you. Does
It
it?
could be. If you sang it in a,
Not
I'll take
really.
my eyes
Depends
off.
how you- Well, I don't really like the off of, but I realised they needed that syllable.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
poetic
would have said
licence.
Can't take my eyes off you.
Not take my eyes off you.
My mum used
What did
to
he
get
say? Can't take my eyes off
of you.
off
Can't
of
take
you.
my eyes off of you.
Oh right.
My mum used to, when we were watching Top of the Pops, used to complain about it, and now I've grown up to be the same. I used to think, oh, for God's sake, it doesn't matter.
Pedantic English person. Yeah.
Anyway, lovely. So, the other end of the spectrum then, what song would you like played at your funeral?
Yeah, that was difficult because I figured for a start there must be at least 3 songs. There's one for the people your audience to come
I don't know if we will allow that, but go
one for the committal and one for the exit. So I thought maybe the entrance and the exit would be one of my songs, maybe. But the one for the committal I thought is an instrumental by a prog rock band called Camel. The title track of their album Snow Goose, 1975. Not the whole thing, because it's about 45 minutes long.
Is it one of those ones that's just every track goes into the next
It's
one?
seeped in together, yeah, it's a concept album, yeah, about the Snow Goose.
How would we know when to stop it then?
That'd be up to the undertaker, wouldn't it? That's his problem, you know.
That's good. So,
45 minutes long. I think there'll be people joining you in the coffin. Open up the lid, I'm getting in.
So you write songs then? Because you said the first
I do, I've always written a load of songs, yeah. I've just finished an album of all my songs.
Oh yeah, you said you were recording with Ali.
That's right, yeah, she's a fantastic singer, Ali.
Yes.
And she
does a tribute to
she does a
what's her
Dusty
name?
Springfield.
Dusty Springfield,
That's brilliant as well.
Excuse me, they don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we've mentioned her already.
Yes, but not on camera, we didn't.
Oh, are you sure?
Maybe we did.
Okay, so I've done an album.
My fault.
And Ali Rose has been helping me with backing vocals, yeah.
Yeah.
And good advice as well. That's great. So I've always written my own songs. The album's actually finished, and I've painted the cover. We'll come to that in a minute.
Oh yeah, you painted your own.
And it should be available soon.
Excellent.
Both online and in CD.
We must announce it when it's.
Yeah, I've announced it now.
Well, we'll announce it.
I've said it now. It's online now.
What's it going to be called? So you haven't got the sleeve or anything with the end?
I've got a
copy
here. It's called Sirens and Unicorns.
Sirens.
Yeah.
You might as well show it now.
All right, I will.
So you painted this?
I figured I'll do as much as I can on the album myself, including painting the cover.
And did you just start painting for this, or have you always
painted? I
painted?
haven't done much painting. I've always liked art. I was very influenced by 70s album covers, which we'll talk about in a minute. It
does look very album covery, like this poor chap in a hole.
He's falling down the plug hole of life. He's been lured in by the mermaids, and they're just nonchalantly cast him aside.
Is it sirens they call them?
It's what girls do to you.
Very good. So you are a painter then?
Well, only because I wanted to do that.
Because I'm looking for somebody to do my hallway. Get a quote off you before we go.
Or at least you put that on your hallway.
Just magnolia, nothing flash.
No, that's very impressive.
Name 3 other people who painted their own album sleeves.
Bob Dylan.
Oh, I don't know.
Bowie?
Don't think so.
Joni Mitchell. Probably the Stones, Ronnie Wood.
Oh yes.
He's not done one of his. He might have done a solo one, but I'll tell you the ones I was thinking of. John Lennon.
Oh, right.
When he was a kid.
Oh, with their little child
He was a little child of the Newcastle Cup final in the 50s.
Okay.
And the great Roy Wood.
Oh yeah.
He painted his own The Boulders album.
I did not know that.
What was your third example?
You
Bob
said
Dylan.
4, you said?
No, 3.
Oh.
Bob Dylan was the other one.
I'm
Because we went to the Bob Dylan exhibition.
I'm trying to think the name of the album, but I can't remember.
You can see that Bob Dylan video. It's on our channel of his exhibition. Do you know?
The exhibition's not on anymore.
It's not, but you can see it on our film.
Yeah.
There was some metal work there that
Was there?
I didn't point out to you. Turned out he did that as well.
Oh.
he welded it.
Oh really? There was some metal thing,
remember
wasn't
it?
there?
Yeah.
It's like a gate, but not a gate.
Yeah, something real weird stuff, and apparently that's his as well. You can just imagine Bob Dylan sat there welding in his shed, thinking I'll get 800 quid for that. Load of old rubbish.
Right, excellent. Right, who inspired you to first pick up an instrument?
Yeah, that was difficult. I don't think there's one particular person. There's a lot of pub bands, friends, just people on the telly, bands I went to see.
Because you said you went to see bands like, for instance, the Ruskin Arms. Who did you see there?
There was Ruskin Arms was a good place for bringing on new rock bands.
Yeah.
The most famous one, of course, was Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Who, late 70s, they were almost resident there. And,
Did you like them?
Yeah, I did at the time. I was because there was a backlash then in the late 70s against the punk new wave thing, which was mid 70s, and it had dominated everything. But there was a backlash. Iron Maiden was one of the bands that led that so-called new wave of British heavy metal.
Where was that? That pub?
In East Ham High Street.
Oh, was it?
I think it's a hotel now.
Is it?
Yeah. Status Quo played there once, apparently.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of bands playing there. Praying Mantis,
Yes.
Angel Witch, a lot of rock bands. Toad the Wet Sprocket played there.
Some of our previous guests, Brad and Keith, mentioned a lot about the Ruskin-Ons because they're from East Ham.
Yeah, Brad apparently used to have one of Iron Maiden. They used to get together and they used to rehearse in his shed. But he forgot to say it
Oh, did it?
on camera. How can you forget that?
Well, you said it, yeah, it's it.
Yeah,
It's on record.
get that out. See, and I always say this about you Cockney boys. You don't know you're born growing up in London. You know, all I had growing up was Eric and Tom on the Bontempi organ and the bleeding snare drum in our pit village, and some arses playing.
Where'd you come from?
The northeast.
Whereabouts?
A little pit village called Horden,
Oh, okay.
which is near Hartlepool.
Right, okay.
You know, none of what you all grew up with. All these festivals and
We had plenty
bands.
there was plenty of live music going on.
Yeah.
There still is around London and Essex
I
and
think
home
so,
counties.
yeah.
There's plenty of stuff going on.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
lucky.
But nothing that's sort of develops into what them lot developed into, is there? Going on now.
You never know.
It's,
You never
know.
it's nearly all old
You
You
people.
never know
We
what
don't know.
Nearly
waits
all
us
old
to you,
people.
you don't know, see.
Nearly all old fogies
No,
like
that's because
us.
we don't go to whatever's happening with the young people. We just go to old fogey things.
Oh, I
Probably
think we've
something
got,
happening, we just don't know about
by the
it.
way, we've got a short commercial break coming up. Right, we're back. Where were we?
We're now up to. So we've established that you were inspired to start playing.
You must
Yeah,
have. You must have
guitar by
like
lots of people.
heroes.
Yeah.
Have you got musical heroes?
Yeah, especially when I was a teenager, a lot of guitarists like Blackmore, Page, Lifeson, people like that.
Lifeson?
Alex Lifeson of Rush. Yeah,
Oh, right.
we can talk about Rush in a minute. People like that, very very famous rock stars at the time.
Yeah.
But I do admire a lot of people, a lot of musicians, singers, bass players, drummers.
So that's,
everything.
is that your first instrument, the guitar?
Yeah,
Acoustic
yeah.
or electric?
Both, mostly acoustic these days. I've got a banjo as well. Yeah. I tried to play the mandolin, but my fingers are just too big. I just can't do it.
Is it a 5-string banjo?
Yeah, it's a 5-string. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Don't ask me to play it because I'm played for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please don't.
I expect you've had to think about this hard. Your proudest musical moment.
Well, look, being interviewed by Black Scar doesn't get any better than this, does it? I mean, come on. But proud as I am of that. I don't think pride is the right word for this, what I'm going to tell you. It's more an honour, really, because I was great friends with Jane Ayres of,
Yes.
you know Jane Ayres?
I did meet her, yeah.
Yeah,
From
of
Wolfram
Wolfram Abbey
Abbey
Folk
Folk
Club.
Club,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was good friends with her. She was very good to me. And when she was ill, very ill, she knew she was dying. That's early 21. I'd written this song called "She Believes in Uniforms." Not uniforms. Unicorns. Got that wrong, didn't I?
She didn't believe
I
in
believe in
uniforms.
She was a lovably eccentric lady.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song, and she features in that song. She believes in unicorns, and I wrote it, sung it to her over the phone. I wasn't allowed to go and see it because of COVID rules and all that. She liked it, and she asked me. So she was planning her own funeral, and she asked me to play it at the funeral, which was a great honour. Very sad, but we weren't allowed to do that because of COVID. We weren't allowed to sing live. In fact, there was only about 10 people at the funeral. So I went to see a mate of mine, Andy Lefebvre, who's got a little studio, and we recorded a rough version of it, and that was played at the funeral.
Yeah.
That was very nice, and I wouldn't say that was pride, but that was an honour.
Yes,
So
that's lovely. It's a lovely
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Thanks.
It's it's a strange one when people ask you to, because we have in the past been asked to play private parties.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have somebody who's a fan of yours, and they say, "Oh, come and play at my party."
Yeah.
People will love you, but of course, it's not always the case, is
No,
it?
that's right,
We once did this, but we're not going to do it anymore. No more private parties. We played this party at the
Remember a few.
Alfred Hitchcock And some old woman come up at the end and she went, so exactly what would you call that type of music?
I think when you've got a general public, you've got to tailor your set for that, so it's mostly just well-known covers.
Yeah, but we can't do that. We don't do covers.
I mean, I've written a lot of my own songs, but some would go down well. You have to sort of measure it really.
And just choose what gigs you do and what you don't. But
if a room full of cockneys, then I'll do one of my songs, Nansbury Pudding, and that'll go down okay. I know it will. It always does.
Yeah. You're an entertainer.
I hope so.
Your favourite album artwork?
Yes. I was going to plug my album cover, which I've already done. I'll do it again. At the moment, I'm going to choose that. I'm quite proud of that actually, considering I've never really painted anything before.
Did you do the writing as well?
Yeah.
It's like
it's not that good.
Game of Thrones sort of.
Is it?
Oh, well, I don't know. That's what it reminds me of, that sort of era.
Oh, okay.
When I say era,
I tried to
not
make
that
up
Game
the
of
font on
Thrones
my own.
is real, is it?
So that was.
Isn't it?
And I thought if you don't accept that, and I'll show you a couple of.
You heard it here first.
I was in the 70s. I was very interested in this kind of stuff by Roger Dean, as Demons and Wizards by Uriah Heep was one of my favourites. And this is a fantastic one.
There they are.
There they are. This is the fantastic one by Budgie, Bandolier album. And there were several artists at the time, Roger Dean, Rodney Matthews, Patrick Woodruff, Frank Frazetta, and they were all doing album covers in the 70s.
Yeah, it's a particular style, isn't it? Sort of fantasy.
It's fantasy stuff, yeah. And I liked it.
He was he had books out and everything, this Roger Dean. Are they both Roger Deans, these?
No, that's Patrick Woodruff.
Are they?
Yeah. But similar, in a way.
These bands sort of just pass me by.
Do you know
You know, I know them,
really?
but I wouldn't. Is there something like the Butch Crutcher's Elbow or something? One of their famous tracks.
In the grip of a tyre fitter's hand.
See, I know. Not the Butch Crutcher's Elbow.
Hot as a docker's armpit was another one. Right. Yeah, that's a great title.
I'm going to ask about these little yellow labels. Is it you have you done it to organise?
Yeah, because I was a bit of a nerd and I've numbered all my albums.
Yeah,
every
but
time
how
I buy
happy are you now that you did it?
Because I can use it as a diary. Because I look at that date and I think what I was doing. 17th of January 1977 is when I bought that. And I've got them all written down, but I still do that.
But the problem is, you can't get these off now, and that'll affect the value of it.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to sell them, does he?
I used to put, because I had plastic. Remember, you could buy a plastic thing to slot them in.
I should have done that.
I had all them for mine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I used to put, what was that little gun that you used to have?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Remember? What are they called?
Dymo.
Oh yeah, Dynamo.
Yeah.
Dymo.
I had all mine on the outside plastic thing to even protect. If I brought my albums, they look like they've just been made yesterday.
You don't play them either, though, do you? I bet you play yours. Do you still?
Now and again, I've still got a record player. Yeah, sure. I bought a new stylus for it the other day. Yeah. See, this one here was ripped up. I had a dog once, a retriever. I come home from work one day, and he basically got into my record collection. And all the ones that I played. Bless you. I played recently. He managed to pull out. He might be trying to play. He pulled them out and ripped them up, and he greeted me at the door with an album in his mouth. So I had to replace a lot of them.
I just replaced the dog.
No, I loved him really.
That's another thing, isn't it? The sellotape goes brown.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy.
Yes, they're not worth that much, but
I tell you,
they're worth a lot to me.
Was Charlie Endell in Budgie?
No, I don't think so.
Sure?
No.
Charlie Endell. He was in Budgie, the TV show.
Oh, yes, yeah. I know what you're saying there, yeah.
This is a very difficult question, I know. Your favourite all-time band?
Yeah, that was a difficult one because I've got a big range of influences. I thought about that. Depends on what age you ask me. If I was late 60s, it would have been something like Herman's Hermits or the Manfreds.
Yeah.
Early 70s would have been Slade.
Come on, the Slade.
Mid 70s would have been Uriah Heep. Late 70s would have been Rush. And when I thought about it, Rush, a Canadian prog rock band, I was really into them. And I think they affected me more than anyone else, I think. For their early part of their music, I really loved. And they went off at a tangent. I wasn't a fan by the mid 80s. But their lyrics are always fantastic. And I do love good, strong lyrics, interesting lyrics. And I've tried to make my songs interesting as well. I hope they are. You can be the judge in it.
Yes.
Recite some Rush lyrics.
Sorry?
Do you know any Rush lyrics off the top of your head? Because I'll be honest with you, I know absolutely nothing about Rush whatsoever. What about you?
Not really. I know who they are. I remember them vaguely, the name. And I always thought they were heavy metal sort of.
It's prog rock heavy rock
now,
stuff.
Now I know it's.
But they did some general stuff. Yeah.
So when you say the lyrics were good, what did they write about?
They wrote about sometimes fantasy, science, history, philosophy, anything. They just handled it. It was the drummer that wrote most of the lyrics, Neil Peart.
I think
I'd
passed
away a few years ago.
I like that sort of thing as well.
You'd love their lyrics, even if you don't like their music. Yeah, and I would say they were my biggest favourite. I've never felt anything stronger than I do about Rush.
Good. You've obviously thought hard about answering that question.
Yeah,
well done.
You're our first real prog rock man that we've had on the show.
Yeah, everyone else has said
I like other stuff as well.
Talking about the mighty Slade, I'm gutted. Their film, Slade in Flame, I don't know if you ever saw that.
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's his name, Mark Commode. Do you know
him? Yeah, Mark Commode.
He calls it the Citizen Kane of rock films.
Does he?
Yeah,
okay.
That's how good it is.
Right.
But it's 50 years old this year, and it's been shown. It's been shown in some cinemas in London, and I was looking for the see where it was on, and I discovered that Noddy was going to be doing a questions and answer.
Was he?
One sold out.
I bet it was. Yeah.
But if you do go and see it, look carefully, because they do a scene where they're sort of, because do you know what the film's roughly about? It's a band that was just playing locally and then got big.
Yeah.
Isn't it about Slade?
This is Slade's film, yeah, and it's all right. He said he liked Slade in the 70s.
No, I'm asking.
Oh,
you said the film's about a band that gets big. Is it about Slade?
No, it's a fictitious band, but they play the part. The fictitious band was called Flame, Slade in Flame.
Okay.
And in that, there's one scene where they're playing a concert and they're waving flame flags. I printed them flags.
Did you?
I did,
print them?
I printed them.
Is that claim to flame?
I'd like to see it when I saw it.
Claim to flame from the studio audience.
I certainly saw it at the time, but I haven't seen it all those years, so I'd like to see it again. Yeah.
Favourite album?
That was easy. That's an easy one, yeah. In spite of the fact I like so much different stuff, Wishbone Ash's classic album Argus is my all-time favourite album. Argus.
It's a concept album about the shop.
Argus, who is a Greek mythology character, the Watcher, apparently. So that is my favourite album. It's absolutely perfect for me. I can't criticise a note in it.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I've got an Argus story. Then again, I don't know anything much really about Wishbone Ash, but my brother was one of the first to get a cassette recorder. Yeah, and people used to bring albums that they borrowed off their mates, and they'd bring a cassette and ask them to copy it, and somebody brought the Wishbone Ash one, and I sat there, because you had to sit there basically to stop the tape when the record finished, and I was listening to it and I thought, this ain't for me, this stuff. So every now and then when the instrumental bits come, I'll sped it up to 45.
What, on the person's recording?
On the person's tape, yeah.
Why?
Just to get it over with. And he never ever got back to me, and I just imagined him sitting there listening to going, oh, listen to the bass on that. As it sped up. So if you're listening, I'm sorry about that.
I'm glad you never done that to mine. Yeah, so that's my favourite. Yeah.
Now, did you bring any precious bits of memorabilia?
I did, funny enough, I did by coincidence, yes, I brought this
He keeps it in his back pocket.
ancient copy of Melody Maker from August 1972.
It's not, there's hardly a blemish on it.
Well, it's not bad, is it? Yeah, not bad at all.
Is that Ian Hunter?
That's Ian Hunter.
Yes.
One of my big heroes, and with his world famous Maltese cross guitar.
Yeah.
Is he the only one that had one like that?
As far as I know.
So what was in that edition?
Lots of stuff. Well, I'll tell you why it's important, because in August 1972 I was in hospital. I was 12 years old, and I was in hospital for about 2 weeks. I couldn't get out of bed for a few days, so all I could do was listen to the hospital radio on the earphones. Anyway, they couldn't get me in the kids' ward, so luckily for me they put me in a men's ward, and they're mostly old fellas in there. But in the next bed to me was a young bloke called Michael. And he was a musician of some kind, I don't know. He used to take Melody Maker. When he read it, he would hand it over to me. So I would look through it, and I was only aware of Top of the Pops, Radio 1, stuff like that. To me, that was pop music. And then I looked in there and I found articles on bands I've never heard of, like Vinegar Joe and Captain Beefheart. And I realised there was a lot of music going on outside of Top of the Pops and Radio 1. So that opened my eyes quite a lot. And this fellow was quite influential to me. I don't know what kind of musician he was, but he used to sit there writing lyrics as well. And he said to me, because the chart is in there, I must point out that the chart was very rock biased at the time. We got Schools Out by Alice Cooper #1 and Silver Machine by Hawkwind is #2. We've got Derek and the Dominoes in there, I think Status Quo in there somewhere.
Layla,
So it's very, and Puppy Love by Donny Osmond there. Anyway, that's
and Popcorn.
And 10538 Overture by the Electric Light Orchestra.
Come on, what a track that is.
That is fantastic prog rock. And so he said to me, when you listen to these records, listen to the guitar. Just listen to the guitar. Next time, listen to the bass. I didn't even know what a bass guitar was at the time. He explained all that. Listen to the drums. Listen to the keyboards, the vocals, and all the harmonies and everything. So I learned that there was a lot of depth to music.
Gentle with it.
Yes.
Yeah, you be careful. It's precious. It's nearly as old as me.
Look at that. What a great chart that is, isn't it?
Great.
Starman,
Yeah.
Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
I can see clearly now.
Yeah.
And then
that's
the
just
albums
interesting,
of
isn't it?
Simon and Garfunkel
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
the top.
They were the days.
Elvis
They were
still.
halcyon days.
They were, yes. That's a Straubs album. Yeah.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Nice one.
Best of the Straubs.
Berlin Boogie. Oh, it's not.
So he was, this fellow was quite influential in getting me to listen, because I couldn't really do much except listen to the hospital radio. Anyway, while I was in there, one of my cousins, Steve, got married, but obviously I couldn't go because I was stuck in hospital.
Your cousins were forever getting
I had
married.
a lot of cousins. I was always getting married, yeah. And my sister and my dad came to see me. One must be the Saturday night after Steve got married, and they said, my sister said, "Guess who got married in the church? The ceremony before Steve." I thought, I don't know. This is one of the fellas out of Status Quo. At the time, their Paper Plane was in the chart. It's a great song from their great album Pile Driver. Brilliant. It was my favourite Quo album. Unfortunately, I missed all that. And she said, well, I don't know which one it was, to be honest. He was wearing a white suit, probably because he was very virginal. I don't know. If I'd have been there, I'd have my little 127 camera and I would have took a load of pictures. So I missed out on that. Anyway, further to that, one night, further to that being in hospital, one night it was a Sunday night and the local evangelical church came round to sing us some hymns. And a lot of the blokes who were still mobile scarpered off to the TV, but they didn't want to know. I was a captive audience and some others. And they were very nice. They sang some hymns and come out and chat and that. When they went, I put my headphones back on and the hospital radio was playing a song. I only heard this once in my life called Grandad's Fish and Chips. It's like an old music hall song. I've tried to find it on YouTube, I can't find it. If someone can find that, please let me know what it's all about.
Grandad's Fish
Anyway,
and
I listened to this song and that has influenced two of my songs. Years later I wrote Nan's Bread Pudding and I wrote Grandad's Seven Hats, influenced by that one song that I heard then. I can only remember a tiny bit of it, but I'd love to hear it again.
Nice one.
I know an expert on musical songs. Do you know John Kane?
John Kane, yeah, he might know.
Him.
I shall up next time I see him at Leicester.
And they came and sang on the ward, did they?
Yeah.
Once a friend of mine was in hospital, and he was a Scottish lad. Stute. And the doctor said to his parents, he's really not responding to any of the medicine. And his mother said, I'll tell you what would help if we could bring his dad plays the bagpipes, if he could come in and play the bagpipes. And so the dad went in and played the bagpipes, and then when the mother went in, the doctor said, that was a miracle. He really perked up. Trouble is, everybody else on the ward died.
Very unfair on the
For a minute I
bagpipes.
thought that might be a true story.
It was a true story.
There was a lot of Scottish people in your village.
But
That's
by the way,
brilliant.
before we go any further, Ian Hunter's just released yet another track this week on Tinternet
Yeah.
called "Normal Service will be resumed shortly," and it's absolutely fantastic. He's still making great music.
I would be interested to hear that, yes. Yes, I didn't know that, so you told me that earlier.
He released 2 albums last year.
Did it?
Yeah,
I didn't even know you were still around, to be honest with you.
yes.
I'm glad.
Right, next question.
Oh,
You can read it
Yeah.
later.
I know.
It's fantastic. You look at the ads at the back for the loon pants. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. plus some articles on up and coming bands like Focus, who became very big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hocus
Right,
Pocus.
Focus and Sylvia.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You've been a marvellous guest. We've nearly come to the end of this session.
Have
But,
we? What's this?
Oh, that's me Lily the Pink single.
Ah,
I
right.
should have shown this earlier.
You should have.
There it is, Lily the Pink.
So this was the first single you bought,
Yeah, it
and
is,
I'm
yeah,
sorry to
yeah.
go on about it, but look, it looks
Brand
as
new.
good as new. And good to see it's in a plastic pocket.
It's on the Parlophone label as well.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
I bet. I wonder who put a good word in for them
I
there.
wonder. Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Maybe
doesn't
it was
yeah,
Paul
yeah.
McCartney.
It could have been.
See, look, it's a trad. It's a trad track.
Ah, I see. So it's not written.
Traditionally arranged, but
Oh, I see.
there's the other one, McGough.
Oh,
He's the
okay.
poet.
Right, okay.
He was the poet.
I don't
That
know.
rings a bell.
That rings a bell, yeah. I'll tell you what else rings a bell. This. The Island
So for our audience, is there anything you can recommend that you've discovered lately?
Yeah, I was at Cambridge Rock Festival last summer, and I went to see Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash, who were fantastic, and mostly Autumn.
When you say Martin Turner, is he new to the band?
No, Martin Turner was the brains behind the original Wishbone Ash, but he left, and there was a lot of shenanigans about who could use the name and who couldn't use the name.
Yeah.
He actually lost the case of using his own name. Wishbone. He has to bill himself as Martin Turner, ex-Wishbone Ash.
okay.
So who got the name? The others.
Andy Powell.
Why?
Well, Andy Powell joined the band after they were called Wishbone Ash, but he had the sneaky idea of registering the name in his name, so he's allowed to use the name even though he didn't think of it. So Martin Turner's not allowed to use his own name for his own band. But I've met Martin Turner, I've interviewed him once when I had a website and I was doing gig reviews and stuff like that. I got backstage with him and had a long chat with him. If you'd have told me when I was 15 that I'd be sitting backstage with Martin Turner, having a beer and talking about gigs and stuff,
You're happy, aren't you? I think you're a positive sort of person.
yeah, well,
He's a happy
You
chap.
focus on
Music
the
makes
good-
me
like
happy.
What's you've been lucky
you two
about.
make me happy.
Lovely.
We're happy.
So anyway, I went to see Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash, who were fantastic.
Is that
And
what you're recommending to the viewers?
No, because they've been around for
sorry,
ages,
I'm
and-
interrupting.
mostly Autumn, who were a great prog rock band.
Mostly autumn.
Who else was on? Lawrence Jones was on, who was very good. And a band that I had heard of but I'd never seen before was Brave Rival.
Brave
I was
Rival.
very interested in those. Yeah.
And they were on where? Red. What?
Brave
Cambridge
Rival.
Rock.
Cambridge Rock Festival.
Oh, Cambridge
Last-
Rock Festival,
yeah,
not the
last-
folk festival.
There is a folk festival. But
I think
they
this
certainly weren't folk.
I think
no.
they've had to cancel this year's folk festival.
I think they might have done, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's interested anymore.
Well, that's not
They
true.
had Robert Plant last year, didn't they? Robert Plant
Oh, did?
on the
Really?
folk festival.
I'm
yeah,
interested.
Yeah. I do. I like folk festivals. Yeah. I go to a lot. Broadstairs.
Oh, I love Broadstairs
Sidmouth.
Folk Week. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've also got a story to tell us about a certain blues legend.
I have. Oh yeah, who Emma had never heard of.
No.
But no, I
much of
just
a
had to
legend.
get some clarification.
Well, she is a lot younger than we are.
Very young. Yeah.
Okay, I shall relate, said Sam. About 35 years ago, I was living next door to a
Not Alice.
That's her, yeah. Alice Cooper it was, yeah. I was living next door to a fella called Ray Topping, sadly no longer with us. He was a recognised blues expert, and I got on really well with him. Bit of a strange character, but he knew everything about blues, going right back to the year dot. He had thousands of albums. Anyway, he worked for Ace Records, who are probably still around, and they used to reissue really old blues stuff. And they used to send him to America to buy up old tapes and stuff from studios, and he'd digitalise it, bring it back, and release it over here on Ace Records. And he used to write all the notes about all the artists. And through that work, he got to know many people, like John Mayall and ZZ Top. ZZ Top came to his house once. Unfortunately, I was at work when they came round, and he knocked on my door. He said, "Guess who came round?" ZZ Top. Oh, blimey. I missed that one. Otherwise, he would have invited me in to meet them. But anyway, he also met Johnny Winter during the course of his work. Johnny Winter's a great blues man who B.B. King once referred to as the only white man who really understood the blues.
And
So that's
where
quite
is he
an
from?
Texas.
This
America.
Johnny Winter.
Yeah.
Then I just
Not
thought
Ray,
you
no,
might have meant
Ray.
B.B. King.
Ray came
He's
from Romford, no.
Texas. Okay.
So anyway, he found out Johnny Winter was coming over. They had a chat with each other, and Johnny said, "Come backstage." I can't remember, it was a venue in London. He said, "Come backstage and have a chat about blues and stuff." Well, Ray didn't talk about anything else, to be honest, you know. So I tagged along, basically. We got to the venue, went to the stage door. The bouncer didn't know anything about it. Eventually got the manager to come down, Johnny's manager. He said, you can come into the gig, but I don't want you coming backstage. But I don't know why that was.
Who had invited you though?
Johnny himself. But I'll come to that in a minute, yeah. They let us into the gig. We thought it was quite a result anyway, getting a free gig to see Johnny Winter. And Ray was distraught because he's big friends with Johnny Winter and he couldn't get in. Anyway, we saw a roadie come out of a door at the side of the stage and he said, come, we'll sneak in there. We did. And we bumped into Otis Grand, who was the support act. And I've met and talked to Otis Grand since then, and he remembers this incident. He took us back up to see Johnny. And Johnny was really pleased to see Ray, not me, because he didn't know me. He was really pleased. I don't know why the manager had stopped us going in. I really don't know. You'd have to ask him that. So we had a good chat with Johnny while Otis Grand was on stage. So I actually missed the support acts. And then it's time for Johnny to go on stage. We watched the gig from the side by the mixing desk, which was great. And the sound engineer let me have the headphones on and twiddle some things. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good, really good. A massive mixing desk. It was fantastic. And then Johnny beckoned to us after the gig to follow him back upstairs to the changing room, to the green room. So we was having a good old chat there. And then one by one, the band and the manager popped their head in and said, we're going back to the hotel. And Johnny said, I'll catch up later. Well, there was a driver outside waiting for him. So we had a good old chat, and then we all decided we'd like to go for a wee. So we found the toilet. We're all standing there, talking about blues and stuff. And doing
even in the toilet, you're
still
talking
absolutely.
about blues.
You can talk.
Dedicated.
You can multitask. You know, you can do that. So we're all standing there, and then all of a sudden the lights went out. Pitch black. It wasn't a power cut.
Mid-wee.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. You can carry on in the dark. It's fine. But then we had to find our way out. There's no lights on whatsoever. Luckily, Ray was a smoker, and he had a lighter, and this was the only light we had. We went out around these endless corridors trying to find our way. It nearly fell down the stairs, pitch black. Everyone had obviously gone home and locked up. So we were wandering about what seemed like ages. Eventually, we went down some stairs and found ourselves in what was the mosh pit. And some bloke turned up with a torch in it, and he said something along the lines of, goodness me, who are you? What are you doing here? Or words to that effect.
Yes.
And we explained that this is Johnny Winter, a big guitar legend, and he said, yeah, pull the other one, mate. We thought we was just fans lurking about. But then the driver came in, and he vouched that it was Johnny Winter. You can't miss him, can you really? He was an albino with long white hair.
Yeah, we didn't mention he was an albino.
He was an
albino.
albino.
I suppose his voice was different from most
Yeah,
of you, because he was from Texas.
Yeah, a strong Texas accent. He was a very harsh singer. He sung very, very, very gutturally sort of voice. But when you talk to him, he was very mild-mannered and softly spoken. Very, very different on stage to what he was in real life. So then Johnny, we got us in the car, in Johnny's car, and he was driving back to the hotel. He dropped us off at the railway station, from underground station, and that was it. And that was my story about how we got stuck backstage with Johnny Winter.
Yeah, in the dark.
That's a true story.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And
no wonder you're such a happy man.
Somewhere in like, might be in the Town and Country Club, I can't remember. Okay. I'll have to look it up.
Kentish Town.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Was his brother playing in that band?
No. Edgar. Yeah, for the viewers, Edgar Winter was also an albino, 2 years or so older, I believe.
With long blonde hair.
They look exactly the same. They look like twins, but they don't. No. Yeah. Sadly, Johnny's dead a few years now.
Yes.
But it was nice to meet him anyway.
Yeah.
Right, fantastic. I really enjoyed that episode.
Yes.
Don't know about you.
I did.
Thanks for coming along, mate.
Yes,
that's the first
nice to meet you.
Done, yeah.
Nice to meet you properly.
Thank you very much.
Before we go, don't forget, Desert Island Dickheads, please leave a comment, like and subscribe and all that
Do we not have something for Phil?
We do, yeah, and I forgot to put it out. Yeah, we got. Can you just touch forward a little bit? You
now
remember
a CD
this?
or something?
No, it's better than that.
Is it?
I might have given the drawer
Yeah,
a bit
it
of
is.
a tidy up.
The badge.
No, it's the Desert Island Dickheads fridge magnet.
Oh, even better.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
And we will be coming round to your house to make sure that you've
I
got
could use it as an
the
eye
fridge.
patch.
Unannounced. Unannounced.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Right.
Thanks for watching. See you
Thank you.
again.